Hello, everybody. Welcome to this latest episode of the Real Talk with Rick podcast where we talk to people who work for or in Eden Prairie. This particular episode, I bring in Megan Munoz from our community center, the Eden Prairie Community Center. Megan is one of our recreation supervisors that we have, and her area of expertise is fitness. So she is a full-time recreation supervisor, fitness lead, focusing on our fitness programming. And we learned that our fitness programming, recreation programming in Eden Prairie is not just at our community center. We have a lot of different types of programs in a lot of different locations. So we're going to hear about Megan's work in that area and learn a little bit about how she got here and some of her passions and her interests. So here is my conversation with Megan Munoz. When I go and we're live, I say, Megan, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Did we start?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yes,
Okay.
it's awesome.
Start
yes.
over.
No, this is great. Megan, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. So, Megan, you are Recreation Supervisor Fitness at the Eden Prairie Community Center.
Yes.
What does that mean? What do you do?
So over at the community center, I oversee all things fitness. That is the fit floor and the equipment, personal training, stretch studio, and all the group fitness classes, in person, virtual, off-site, like fitness in the parks.
Thank you. And I kind of placed you at the community center, and I know a lot happens there, but just in your intro, you do talk about activities outside, in the parks.
Yep.
Virtual, which I think was a huge, I know it was huge during COVID. I don't know if you did much before COVID.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So it still exists. But yeah, when I think of you at the community center, but that isn't where fitness occurs. It occurs in many different locations.
Absolutely.
Yes. And we have a lot of members at our community center, and we have a lot of people that maybe come and pay just to go to the classes. So give me a feel for roughly how many classes do we have a day? How many people are at the classes? What's the diversity of the types of people, ages that are at the classes?
For sure. So we are a group fitness heavy club. So we have over 150 classes every single week. And that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. So we have classes for seniors, classes for your average adult. We have some youth classes. We have specialty classes. We have classes designed for people with Parkinson's, people with MS, people with arthritis, young adults with special needs. So we are a community center. So we see anyone, everyone, everything in between. So we fill a lot of our classes. So we have class maximums and we have wait lists, and we often fill the classes and the wait lists.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen, through city employee wellness stuff, we've had different events over the years. So I've done several of them myself at the community center and here. And when I look at the schedule, because the schedule comes out in advance, some of them you can't just go to, though, right? Some you can just show up at, and some you have to register for. Do you have to register for all of them?
Well, this is a post-COVID protocol. We ask that people pre-register for all of them. Everything.
Okay.
So we can let you know if the location has changed, or if class is canceled, or if we have to cut class short. So we know who's going to come. But if the class is not full, if you drop in, we'll let you in.
Okay. No, just good to know it's not for me, but it's for anybody who might be listening. That's good. And I want to follow up with the virtual piece too.
Yeah.
Because I remember talking about this with city council, with members of the community, that kind of kept things going.
Absolutely.
So take me back. Tell me how, what that was like, and then what does it look like now?
So post-COVID, we couldn't have anyone in our fitness center. It was instructors alone in a studio live streaming a fitness class. We had a lot of people who were virtual only members. That was the only way they could work out. They wanted to work out with their favorite instructors. We were able to provide that. As people started coming back in, we had very limited numbers. So again, if you couldn't get on that list, you could take it at home. As people started coming in more and more, the virtual numbers would get lower and lower, but we still have significant numbers who join virtually.
Okay.
Yeah, not all classes are live streamed. I believe we have 25-ish classes that are still live streamed every week.
That's a good amount, though.
Yeah.
Maybe of the 150, that's a good amount.
Yeah.
But also, and I know this to be the case too, I mean, a lot of people are back.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, our membership and the numbers are not quite to pre-COVID levels, but they're getting close.
They're getting close.
Yeah.
People feel really safe. They feel really good about working out right next to their buddies.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
You yourself do like how many classes a week?
Teaching or taking?
Both. I meant teaching, but we'll do both.
Teaching. I teach one class regularly every week, and that is a virtual Pilates class on Mondays.
Okay.
So I am by myself in a room.
You're by yourself in a room.
With a laptop. Yep.
Okay.
And all my at-home friends. Taking, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 a week. Every now and then I will have to sub a class, so I might be teaching more than I take.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all fun.
Well, I believe you.
Yeah.
I just want to know what you're personally teaching. Okay. All right. We're gonna talk more about your job and the people that you work with. But before we get to that, I want to go back because I wanted to ground everybody in kind of what you do and your position in the city. So let's go back to where you're from originally. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in Urbandale, Iowa, and that is a suburb of Des Moines.
How many suburbs does Des Moines have?
That's a good question. I would have to Google that.
That's okay. I've heard of West Des Moines.
Yes.
I've heard of Urbandale.
Have you?
But I've heard of it.
Okay.
I haven't been there, but I don't, obviously I want to make fun of Iowa, like in a way that there really are no suburbs of any city in Iowa. It's kind of meant to be a joke, but there are actually suburbs of Des Moines.
Yes.
And Des Moines does get pretty high ratings for a place to live.
Yeah, I love Iowa.
Shockingly, yeah.
I love Iowa.
No, I know you do. Okay, so you're from there.
Mm-hmm.
So how big was your high school, and then what did you do as a kid, and where'd you go? We'll start there.
Okay, so my graduating class was 285 students for my graduating
That's
class.
good size.
It's a good size.
Yeah.
It's not a farm town. It's a
No.
suburb.
Yep.
I currently live in Shakopee, and it's bigger than Shakopee, so
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Urbandale
Urbandale
it's a
is.
bigger city than Shakopee.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so then what do kids do in Urbandale, Iowa?
Well, I spent my time reading.
Reading,
I'm a big reader.
Reading, studying.
Yes. Very
not
good student.
Not very good student, not getting in any trouble
Never.
at all. Okay.
Never.
No, okay. All right.
Never.
And then off to college.
Off to college, off to Iowa State University, and I majored in psychology, which, if you ask my mom, was a terrible idea. She thought I should be a book editor when I grew up. And I thought psychology is a fascinating subject. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Was I right or was she right? I don't know.
Well, I think there's some psychology to your current job.
I
and you
agree.
can still read books every day if you want.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you got a degree in psychology from Iowa State.
Yeah.
And then did what?
Then my first job out of college was actually Wells Fargo, believe it or not. It's not psychology related or book editing related or fitness or parks and recreation related. So perhaps not surprisingly, that was not a long-lasting job.
Was it in your hometown or near your hometown?
It was near my hometown.
And then you did that because, you got to find something out of school.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody, their first job is their best job, is their last job, is their most fulfilling job.
Yeah.
All right. So not quite a year. And then what?
Yeah. Then we moved up to Minnesota shortly after that.
Who's we?
My
We.
husband and I,
Okay.
and my daughter. She was,
Got it.
She was 1 when
Okay.
we moved up. So my husband's job up here, I'm doing the stay-at-home mom thing.
Mm-hmm.
I go to group fitness classes because they're so fun at the gym nearby. And I said to myself, I can do this. So I did this. So I signed up for the training, and then I said to myself, what did I just get myself into? What did I do? But it turned out to be great fit for me. Great way that I could be active. I could do the stay-at-home mom thing with my toddler, plus get a little activity on the side. It turned out to be a really good fit.
So so your husband's job brings you guys to Minnesota.
Yes.
Okay, so that wasn't basically right to Shakopee at that time then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We
And
first moved to Shakopee.
And the classes that you take are here in Eden Prairie?
No, they were
Okay.
at Gold's Gym in Shakopee.
Okay. But that's kind of interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
as a kind of a side thing, just to keep in shape, you're at home, but you actually decide to take part-time job there.
Yes.
Okay.
So the life of a fitness instructor can be very mobile.
Yeah.
So you can't teach classes all day, every day at a specific gym or even many gyms. So I have worked many different places. The Gold's Gym, private gym. I've worked at boutiques. I've worked at municipalities. I've worked at in corporate fitness. Eden Prairie, we had some instructors that I knew who also worked at other places with me, and they said, Eden Prairie is looking for a Zumba instructor, specifically a kids Zumba instructor. And I had a group fitness certification. I had a Zumba kids certification. So I applied. I filled the need. I was hired. Luckily, they thought I was pretty good and kept me around.
Okay. So then you were cobbling together like multiple instructing in multiple locations.
Yes.
So, okay.
At one point, I think I was at 7 different places.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of bouncing around.
When you say boutique, what does that mean?
Like a yoga-specific little studio.
Okay.
Yeah. Or bar-specific.
Okay, because I can picture. Okay, yeah, and that has exploded in the last 10 years, right? The number of small, independent yoga places, all those places.
Yeah.
And they're still corporate, right?
For sure.
There's a lot of Orange Theories and other places that are popping up too.
Yeah.
But okay.
Or even like at a Wells Fargo would have a gym in their corporate building.
And they'd have they have fitness instructors there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. They would have a little studio, and yoga's always good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, you're right.
In the middle of the day. Yeah.
So when you started here, because there are probably, I could be off on this because I'm thinking about looking at the pictures on the wall as I walk up the stairs at the community center.
Yep.
There's at least 6 to 8 people that are part-time instructors of ours.
We have almost 70.
Well, then
part-time
why aren't there
instructors.
70 pictures on the wall then?
Because those are for personal trainers only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have personal training staff, stretch studio staff, group fitness instructors, and fit floor staff.
70, I suppose 150 classes.
Yeah, you need a lot.
You do need, 70. And you were one of 70 people at one time.
Mm-hmm. There were probably fewer back then, but yeah.
Okay. So then what makes you think about making this like full-time all the time?
That's a good question, because you think of a fitness person, they are movers, they are shakers. You don't put them behind a computer. You don't say sit in this desk for 8 hours a day. That wouldn't be a good fit for most fitness instructors. But I don't mind doing that. I have an appreciation for the administrative part, for the organization part, for the details. So I'm actually a good mix of a mover and a shaker and an administrative sort of personality. So it was a really good fit for me to transition into fewer classes, more administrative responsibilities.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because there are a lot of people they don't want anything to do with paperwork, administration, scheduling classes, supervising people, managing the people in the class. They just want, that is a rare breed.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
But yeah.
Okay, good. So that being said, what is like your typical day?
Oh, there are no typical days.
Okay.
Every day is different. 3 out of the 4 days this week, even, I walk into the building and someone says, Megan, I have a question. Or Megan, this instructor needs help with this. Or Megan, this person has a complaint about this piece of fitness equipment. And I say, let me take my coat off. Coat goes off and I'm right into it. So every day is different. It could be more teaching. It could be more scheduling. It could be more customer service. You never know.
Yeah. And the team there. Talk a little bit about the team that you work with. We have Val, the manager, and there's at least 2 or 3 other supervisors.
Yeah, there are 4 supervisors, 1 for each department in the community center. So I'm fitness, Doug is ice, Nick is aquatics, and Andrea is customer service.
Customer service.
Yep. Yeah, so we each bring our own element into the whole. We are a great team. All get along very well. We meet, we do facility management. It's a great team.
Yeah. We
are very lucky.
Let me ask you this real quick. It might be technical.
Yeah.
Of all those instructors, are they contracted or are they considered part-time employees?
They're part-time employees.
Because when you include them, I mean, when you think about the ICE operations and then the front desk in the community in the customer service operations. I mean,
and the lifeguard,
absolutely, all that. We have hundreds.
Oh yeah,
hundreds
absolutely.
of part-time people that work down there. So actually you're in the minority.
As a full-timer, yeah.
Because we have hundreds of part-time people kind of keeping the community center running and operating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, we wouldn't get far without those part-timers. They are a good crew.
So, yeah, you've got a lot of variety in your job. Mm-hmm. So what would you say is one of or a few of some of the most fun things that you do?
Well, I would say that bunny yoga is my all-time favorite program that we offer.
Okay.
And you're like, what is bunny yoga? It's literally yoga with bunnies hopping around. It's the best.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's been around for probably just a few years,
yeah.
right? 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
And it's getting more popular.
Yes. More popular. We always sell out. It's a fan favorite. Not even just for kids, but for adults, grandparents.
I'm picturing a lot of adults.
Mm-hmm.
This whole animal yoga thing's taking off, though, right?
Absolutely.
Like goats?
I've done goat yoga, yes.
Okay, what else?
I've done kitten yoga. I want to do llama yoga. I have a contact to do puppy yoga.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the one who wants to bring all the animals into the community center.
I think all the ones that you just mentioned seem safe, seem reasonable.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, there isn't any discussion of like mouse yoga.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if I had a contact for some mouse parents, I'm there. I'm on board.
Well, we do know someone in this building who likes rats.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
she's all for rat yoga too. So there's 2 of us.
Okay. No, that is very, very popular. That's fascinating.
Yeah. And I always start out, I know you're here to snuggle bunnies. Yoga is secondary. So
really?
Absolutely.
So the idea is to get people into yoga through the animals?
Well, not necessarily. It's good for your physical health, yoga is.
Yeah.
But it's playing with bunnies, snuggling with bunnies, that's good for your mental health.
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
well-rounded.
Yeah.
And we do yoga poses that promote playing with the bunnies. Like we'll make bridges and tunnels and nests and platforms, and the bunnies will go under you or they'll jump on your lap. It's fantastic.
That is, yeah. No, I heard it's a huge hit.
Yeah.
Again, picturing that with, sure, cats, dogs.
Yeah.
What do the goats do?
They mostly just walk around. But when you get into a pose that is good for them, someone usually has to put the goat on your back or wherever. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. What would you say is probably one of the more challenging aspects of your job?
Oh, boy. We see a lot of people.
Yeah.
And sometimes our patron personalities can be challenging, especially like, for example, the lap swimmers and the water aerobics folks. They don't always get along.
Yeah.
So being the intermediary is...
You've got to kind of make sure everybody gets along in the same...
There's the psychology.
Space. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, everyone, there's only so much water.
Yes.
So that sometimes can be a conflict.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we put our protocols in place and we hope they play nice. And when they don't, we got to step in. And we've had to step in.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, though. I mean, you've got thousands, if not tens of thousands of people coming through.
Yeah.
And not everyone, is having their best day, or some people might have different visions of how stuff should operate and how stuff should work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I can see that being challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else that we haven't covered about before I ask a few questions about just you personally, but about anything else about your position in fitness at the community center? I know, as we're taping this, what's fresh in my mind too is when we talked about what a great job everybody does there, even in a crisis, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
I think it was just a couple weeks ago we had, a very serious health incident where we had, staff and patrons, basically reviving somebody that.
Yeah. It was a week ago yesterday. Yeah. Our community center, we see a lot of seniors. We see people exerting themselves when they exercise. It's a potential place where there could be a medical emergency.
Yeah.
And so I'm a huge advocate for CPR certification, for being able to, for keeping that certification, for practicing, for having my entire staff fully certified. Now, here's an interesting story. During the pandemic, my own CPR certification lapsed, and the aquatics team is usually the one who renews the staff, their certifications. Well, they were busy doing post-COVID beaches, etc.
Yeah.
And so here's another example where I was like, I'll just go get certified. So I did. And when I got there, I was like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I can certify people to be CPR and first aid certified.
Yeah, to be the certified as the instructor, that's a lot of work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a passion of mine.
Cool.
You never know when it's going to happen. I don't care if it's on the fit floor, at the pool, in the parking lot, at Cub.
Yeah.
It's clear who has been trained to respond to an emergency, even if you're scared, even if it's chaotic, even if it's messy. And we've got a great crew who went back to that training and jumped to action, and I was so proud of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I think the incident we're talking about was on the fitness floor.
It was on the fitness floor, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's scary. But yeah, you never know too. You hear the stories about people that are in excellent physical condition and they can go into some kind of arrhythmia or something could happen. You just don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Could be anywhere, could be anyone.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're not doing, by the way, it's fine if you moonlight, I don't mind. But when you got this job full time, then did you like quit 6 other places all at once?
No.
I didn't think so. Yeah.
No, I have.
And again, it's okay. It's fine.
I have a couple side gigs.
You still do? Okay.
Because people need that Zumba instructor or that Pilates instructor. So I sub every now and then at a couple different places when they're like, what do we do? Let's call Megan.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and then I think too, because you talked about kind of working around your kids, that some of it, it's not necessarily an 8 to 4:30 thing either, because there's a lot of classes before people want to go to work and into the evening, right?
Absolutely, and weekends. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe some of it, which would have been a great job for someone who wants to be home with their kids, would have been, I'm going to do this at night, or I'm going to do it at certain times, but. Yeah, you're still moonlighting though.
A couple.
Okay.
Every now and then.
Every now and then.
It's not every week, but
maybe
once or twice a month.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, like in your spare time, what else do you do? I'm thinking she might be doing still back at Gold's Gym every now and then. But what else? What else?
Well, I'm a homebody. I love to be at home. I love to read, watch movies, hang out with my family, do Wordle. I've never been much of a sports person, which sounds ridiculous coming from the fitness supervisor, but no.
Not in terms of watching.
Watching's fine. Participating,
No,
you don't want me on your team.
Okay.
But I like to hike or go paddle boarding, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
In terms of reading, because you do read a lot, and you go back to what your mom said about being a book editor. So what kind of books do you read? What do you like?
I am not picky. I read anything and everything. I like fiction. I like nonfiction, historical fiction, short stories, fantasy, suspense thrillers, romance. You name it, I'll read it.
Except for romance, that all sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that all sounds really good.
What
Just
about
me personally?
Like a thriller with an element of romance in there?
Well, it just depends on how we define romance.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, go ahead.
I don't always like that to be the main story, but if there's a romantic interest.
Yeah, I mean, in almost
fine.
all fiction.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very little fiction where there's not some type of emotional, romantic thing going on.
Right.
I get that. But someone says romance, I think of Harlequin romance or cheesy romance. So then I don't mean that you can't have.
Well,
that's like an element in almost every book.
Right. And I would probably not pick up a Harlequin unless someone was like, Megan, this is a great book. And then it's going on the wish list.
Yeah. I mean, that's like an oxymoron. A Harlequin romance and a great book. I don't think so. But no, like you said, as do I. There's many, many different kinds of books that we would read, like you said. What would you, if I were to ask like your friends, peers, other people, what would they say you're known for, or what would they kind of say about you that jumps out from anybody else?
Well, they would say that I'm the reader.
Yeah, good.
Shocking. I would be known as the one who sends a lot of overly detailed emails.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. And that could be back to that book editing thing. Like,
Yeah.
I want all the details in there, and they have to be perfect, and they have to be, descriptive, and you have to know what I'm saying.
So you are very organized. You have, everything is put together, but you're saying that some others would say that you're like really, really organized, have a lot of detail.
Maybe too detailed.
Okay. All right.
That's all right.
I don't.
Better to have more detail than too little, right?
I agree. I can't think of many times where that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. We're on the same page
Yeah,
there.
we are on the same page. But back to the books again too, because I've looked at Goodreads. I've never rated on Goodreads, but I'm familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do a lot of that? Do you do the star rating on Goodreads a lot?
Not on Goodreads.
A different one?
On my app.
Yeah.
I will star the books because I read a lot of books.
Yeah.
And I like to share what I read.
Yeah.
And so I will have my list, and the 5-star books, those are the ones I really recommend. And 4-star, on and down. And I will even say these have 1 star, but I'll still share them.
Yeah. But when you say your app, that's not Goodreads, it's something else.
No, it's the library app.
The library. So
Yeah.
which library?
Well, all of them. So
Okay.
I use Overdrive or Libby, and that is connected with, I think, Scott County, Hennepin County, Anoka County, all of the county's libraries.
Okay. Yeah, because I've got a Hennepin County library card. I go to the website. I can get stuff through there.
Yeah.
But they say you can go to all the other libraries.
Yeah.
So you're like a big deal on Libby then, because you have all kinds of ratings of all kinds of books.
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, I got to know which ones I got to recommend.
Sure. No, I've talked to you about this before outside of podcast, and you've got a list of like the next 100 books you're going to read.
300 books.
3. Yeah. Sounds being. Well, again, you provided more detail than I would have. Yeah.
Overly detailed.
No, it's good. Over 300. That's.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do about 1 a week for the next like 5 years to to get there.
I probably read 4, 5, 6 a month.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So in terms of travel or visiting, what would you say is probably one of the more interesting places you've gone?
This past summer, my daughter and I went to Ireland and England with her school group. So that was a really cool, like, things here are old, but things there are really old.
Mm-hmm.
So to see that history was really cool. And to do it with my daughter was really cool. But teenagers, a lot of time was spent on her phone.
Yeah.
But we got some really cool pictures. We kissed the Blarney Stone. It was really cool.
That is neat. Yeah. I mean, a good point would be if you kind of couch this all and we're going to get certain really good photos or stuff that you can put on social media.
Yeah.
Then that'll get her interested in the Blarney Stone or some of the historic locations.
Absolutely.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
You got to weave it all together.
Yeah, I've taken my daughters at different times to New York to get them into certain museums, locations, interesting spots. It's about where we can get a good picture.
Yeah.
So that's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that works out well. Yeah. Okay, last couple questions. You're on a desert island.
Mm-hmm.
You can only bring a couple things with you.
Right.
What are you going to bring?
I'm going to bring a fully stocked yacht. I need nothing else.
Okay,
It's all in the stock of the stocked yacht.
Okay, so the yacht would probably have to be docked on the desert island because you're exiled to the desert island, but you've got the yacht and it's stocked with like every food,
water, supplies, books.
Okay.
Sunscreen.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I get, yeah, that makes sense.
I couldn't narrow it down to 3.
No, that's fine
Just
because
gotta
you have like
stock
many things on there.
Yeah.
So that's good. Any other, where do you see, kind of back to your position and what you're doing, to put you on the spot a little bit, what do you see your field like 5 and 10 years from now? What is the future? Like one thing I think we never would have predicted is all the virtual classes. And obviously, even with the Peloton and some of these other equipment that's out, people were kind of doing virtual classes like that before COVID. But is there something else you see? Well, the animals.
Animal yoga. Yeah.
But is there anything else like on the horizon? Like someone listening to this in 5 years would say, wow, the first time I heard about this was when Megan mentioned it in the spring of 2023, and now it's a big deal. Is there anything?
Not that I can think of, but I will say senior fitness has to be, we're all getting older. We all want to live longer. We need to pay attention to our health and our well-being, and senior fitness is how we're going to help accomplish that. So I foresee more senior focused classes in the future. Mm-hmm.
And so I've been here almost 12 years, and there's always been, programs for seniors. You just see that expanding even more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, people are living longer and they're retired longer, and there should be more fitness opportunities. I could see that. That makes sense.
Yeah. And it's not just sitting in a chair, moving your arms. Like, seniors are fit. They can do more than we think they can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll expect more of that. And any final words before we say goodbye?
If you have a book recommendation, you come let me know. I'm going to add it to my wish list.
Yeah, one of 300 books. Let Megan know.
Yes.
She's somewhere between like almost a book a week, or it sounds like more than a book a week. So yes, Megan, thank you for coming on, sharing with us a little bit about yourself and about what's going on in the world of fitness at the community center.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yes, thanks.